Hello, it is me, Poison, and you're watching this. Can you believe it? Okay, I just need to make sure my mic was like, oh, that sounds a lot better. I need to make sure my mic was working. I'm gonna turn the audio playback off. Do do do. There we go. Now I won't hear myself on repeat. But hello, I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome, Sarasmataz and Ma. Thank you for joining me. We are going to be today showing the overhaul process for my Vroid models, which means we are going to be doing the re-rigging of the hair, adding special graphic effects, also adding higher when I say resolution, but better light interactions because I switched my lighting interaction to realism. And hello, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? I am just using the same model I did yesterday. I typically will change almost every time, but for continuity, I was like, we'll just stay on this one model. Because I'm gonna edit the Vroid portion and the Unity portion together in one shorter video. If I can keep it around 30ish or 30 minutes to an hour, that's probably what I'm gonna shoot for. First stream was 3 hours. This one will probably be comparable, though the Unity step, I should note, because I can reuse assets and things that I've made in the past, goes a lot quicker a lot of the times, especially because the Vroid step is also the design step, where I'm setting up all my materials to receive special effects. Speaking of which, live scene, let me go ahead and show you the export things I need to do. So I've already exported this model and loaded it into Unity, so I won't click the actual export button. But first, because I'm going to edit the blend shapes of the model, I need to keep my transparent meshes. So I need to make sure this is turned off. And typically this number right now is 50,000. It doubles when I turn the transparent meshes off. I want to typically keep it under 90,000. However, because this is a model that's not going to be switched out and like loaded all like that many times, having the extra polygons isn't going to hurt that much because it means that it'll take maybe an extra like 5 to 10 seconds to load. But if I'm only using that model for a stream, it's fine. I have a few models that have like really like heavy fabric effects that can take up to like 5 minutes to load, but it's because I made errors in setting up the magic cloth. But yeah, so I need to keep my transparent meshes, which does end up costing me a lot of polygons. But it's also because my hair is this long. This is actually eating most of the polygons. One other thing that I did change right before stream is I wanted a like more a different eye, and I'm like I can go from blue to green easily, but I can't go from green to blue because it will just always keep the parts of the green even if I like way wash out the blue. Uh, and then this snowflake, right now it's super visible. I'm gonna switch it to an additive property. So it's gonna be more of a transparent snowflake, and I might try to have it be something that just shows when I turn my head, not 24/7. Speaking of which, oop, no, not you guys. I need to grab me. I'm gonna move me over here because all of the like information on Unity is going to be on this side, the other side of the screen. I apologize for anyone who has motion sickness. Now is appropriate to throw up. No, now is I for one have motion sickness. Oh, I should wait. I used to do this all the time. Like a little bit of like a South Park animation for when I'm going from one side to the other. Low budget. Ooh. Oh, wait, Riot. I haven't done this in forever. Uh, oh, there we go. Yay! I haven't used the bomb feature of that in like a hot minute. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We actually are so my model's turned the wrong way, I think. Turn my head this way. Okay, no, it's right. We actually did those semi-live. We did the Unity stage for those live. And we managed to be the #1 Vroid poster for both those days that we posted, which put us in the top 1% on that subreddit, which is really cool. And I'm so thankful to everyone who's engaged with it. And like, yeah, it feels good because sometimes my content doesn't get seen that much. And it got really, I was very perceived those 2 days, which I appreciate. So one thing that I can mention right here is you can see these little like black spots. they're obviously going to be light bulbs. Vroid does not read transparency well. So some of the mats on this model you're not going to see very well until they're imported to Unity, where they should be more visible. Okay. So the model's ported in Unity. One of my first steps that I do to prep the model, so yeah, there are you do have to do it in either Blender or Unity. I prefer Unity because I have a programming background. Um, but God bless the people can use Blender to that degree. For some reason, when I port my models into Blender, the eyebrows get broken almost every time. I'm trying to figure that one out. But so under secondary in your model file, that is all of Vroid's rigging. Like that's your hair, your chest, everything. Delete it. Now my model has zero physics. That's because I'm going to replace those physics with my own, and I can't have their physics and my physics there at the same time because they'll disagree with each other. Speaking of which, I need to open this up. And so you see all these pink circles in the model? All of those need to go because those are Vroid's colliders, and I'm going to be using Magic Cloth, so I don't want any of their colliders like in the scene because it will confuse and make the like model harder to load. So because I have a skirt, gonna remove the ones in the leg. I'm gonna open up all of these. So I got rid of the hips, spine, upper chest, neck, and head. I know where all of the colliders are located, which makes this a lot easier. And remove. So that should be all the colliders, but to double check, I just gotta click on root, which should highlight basically everything below it, and see if there's any pink circles. There are not. So next up, we need new colliders because we just got rid of them, which means in the programming sense, I no longer have a physical body for things to interact with. So we need something for my hair to bounce off of. So I'm gonna start with the head, and we're gonna call it skull. Doesn't really matter what you call it, because yeah, you just need to be able to. Every collider, in my experience, needs to have a different name. Other than that, you can call it whatever. So I'm going to do a sphere collider for the skull. And I'm going to put it right about here. And then I want to do create empty. And then I use two face colliders because I have such a long bang. And hello, Proto! Because I have such a long bang that goes all the way down to my chin, I like to have a lower face collider and a like forehead collider, which I both use capsule colliders for. So we're going to turn this, make this a bit bigger, go up. And so the colliders are a lot bigger than what you think. So like say here, it looks like it's the edge of my forehead, but it's going to cause my hair to come out to here. So about right there should work, right behind where the eye is. And we're going to make that just slightly bigger. Because a lot of the times these colliders aren't to like fully cause the thing to not move through it. It's to give a point where like kind of to reduce the gravity in that section. So when the hair swings, it hits that and stops the swing. But I still want it to swing a bit so that way it can have natural hair movement like this. Like I still want it to look like it's hitting my face. Okay, so I'm gonna call this F1. By the way, I do change the name almost every time I do it because sometimes I just face roll my keyboard because as long as it's a different name. I'm gonna turn this one on the Z axis, 90 degrees, which basically just flips it this long ways. Yeah. I'm gonna click the little S over here, which gives me two circles. I'm gonna make the bottom circle big and the top circle smaller. This one I can be a little bit more creative with because it's lower on the face. So we'll probably go about right there. And we might have to adjust it. We can adjust it later. I just like to get them in the generally correct location first. Up next is neck. Oh, this is when I remember there's one more thing I need to do that I'm gonna do before I do anything else here. Sometimes I have exported a model and forgotten to delete transparent meshes, and we did this model before stream started. So I use another Unity tool called NEB, or Not Enough Blend Shapes, which basically means all I needed was to make one really good face, or use their example model, which has 272 blend shapes on it. And so I'm going to click use the reference model that has the pre-made blend shapes. And I'm going to drag this model into the bottom section. And then I'm going to copy the blend shapes from this file over to my new file, well, to the new character. 174 blend shapes have been successfully copied. And that's what allows me to do this. Wow, wow, wow. It gives me almost full control over my face. I would have even more control over my face, but Wordo has a limit of, I believe, 34 blend shapes that it can read. iFacial, I think, with the unpaid version, will only read 64, but you only need the 34 for Wordo, and 34 seems to be enough. I can move my tongue and like all that stuff, so it's enough for me. But if you didn't do the exporting correctly from Vroid, it will stop you there and say error. Transparent meshes have been deleted. So you'll have to re-export and uncheck this box. Now note, these aren't necessarily always the most light load models because of the extra polygon counts from the transparent meshes. But you typically only have one VTuber model on screen, so I've never really ran into an issue. As long as you can run the program, I've not really experienced having an issue. Well, as long as you can run the program and your face tracker at the same time, typically you won't have any problems. Okay, so we did face. I only do, so I have really long hair, and so you'd think that I would go all the way down my arm with colliders. That actually causes more problems than it fixes. And sometimes a little bit of clipping can prevent a lot of clipping. So what I do instead is I just make a really big upper arm like collider and use that so that way when the hair hits this area, it just moves away instead of getting stuck between the elbow and the forearm, or like the forearm and the upper part of the arm, the bicep. And because I have this like Christmas light thing, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. By a little bit, that's actually a lot of bit. Uh, and I'm gonna click on the upper shoulder. I want the edge of my circle to start at the edge of the box. Do, do, do. There. Because it's gonna rotate on this axis with the arm, so you want it always to be at the edge. Because if you leave it, like say over here, when you turn your arm, that collider is gonna go through your body, and you'll scissor parts of your other bones, and it will cause your hair to like flip and do really crazy things. And yay, bubbles! I need to. Did the bubbles work? Sometimes my redeems don't work. Okay, yeah, it did. The first time I get a redeem, I'm like, okay, because I have two desktop like set up for streaming. If I open up Wordo in both, it confuses the like programming and messaging because they both have my same Twitch. I'm trying to make it okay. I used to have this look like that water used to look like Fontaine from like Genshin. I can't get it back to that color. I'm figuring it out. We got the blue and the pink. I just need them to mix more. Also, a fun fact, if you watch my eyebrows and when you use hydrate, they kind of leave my body. I forgot I had poison. I think my eyebrows are actually staying more on my face right now. Yay. I forgot about the poison one. It looks pretty. I like the like yellow gleam it had. Okay, so we're gonna type in U arm. Hey! We have lots of redeem point things. I like to in Wardo they make it super easy to add them. The harder part is adding it on Twitch. But yeah, no, they're fun. I want to add one for Snow for the um anniversary stream, so that way people could just redeem it and turn on the snow. I made last year I made the hydrate snow, and let's just say it looked very inappropriate. Because just a bunch of white liquid pouring down on me is not necessarily the image I was going for. It doesn't read the way that you would think. Well, it might, depending on how your brain works. Uh, okay, so this is the upper chest. This is the next most important collider. Capsule collider, because it turns with the axis right here. And so I used, instead of having a shoulder collider, I think it's better to have just a really big upper chest and I pull it up. And so if you notice, I don't have too much of a clipping issue with my hair and my hoodie. That's because I do this with this collider and I kind of use it to kind of keep the hair off of it. Sometimes I have to export the model a few times because I'll notice a collider's off. That's typically why I do test streams with my models after they're finished, is so that way I can be like, okay, this collider needs to be moved down, etc. Uh, this next part is only necessary if you have hair as long as mine, which is to create spine and hip. So spine. But for most people, if your hair's like doesn't come down to here, you can stop at upper chest. But I really like having a lot of hair. I can be a little bit more gracious with this one. Let me do this. So it can be a little bit different sizes. I think that should cover that. I also think I'm gonna put a lower chest one. Create empty. Add capsule collider. Let's do. It's from a kind of cannonball. It's like that's good enough. I just try to take up basically this section of the like square that a top part of your body is. This one is like one of the least important ones because I've never had an issue with it. It's just to stop my hair from clipping into the sides, which is not a very likely place for the hair to go. Create empty. And this is going to be hips. We're just going to do this. Okay, and typically I don't have to do lower legs. This model has this little skirt thing that's going to get its own physics. So I do need to program upper leg. Well, need to put a bone inside the upper legs. U L R. That's a Y, but that's fine. No one can see the name of the bones. Except unless you're on the stream. Okay, we are going to make this bigger, take it like this. And okay, clipping behind the leg, not that bad because people won't see that section very frequently. So what I like to do is do this and put the collider slightly in front of the leg. That way it hits when the leg is hitting the fabric, this part hits it and knocks it away from the leg because things can go through colliders like bones. And so by creating that little like extra bounce area, I get a more realistic effect on the lower parts of my outfit without them like turning in and clipping through my leg where the bone isn't present. Because if we can show it, oh yeah, I'll be able to show you the bones uh once I put the bones on there because I forgot they won't show up yet because I deleted them. Left leg, yes. I am dyslexic, so I do have to occasionally check to make sure I am putting things in the right area. So, LL. Okay, so that is all of my bones. Well, that is all of my colliders. By the way, if you're wondering how I have this so like small and organized, if you hold Alt, you can expand them all. What is the... Okay, yeah. Oh. And then hold Windows and click, and you can like have it to be shorter. There's another button, but I'm blanking on it. My keyboards turn weird, and I use muscle memory more than I think I do sometimes. Okay. So I used to put the hair rigging instead of putting it under the root. Instead of putting it under this, I used to put it under here, like in the same area. I was told, and so far they've been right, that it's better to put it underneath the root. Probably just like the way that it searches through your model for like things makes it better because it's closer to the actual bone that it's controlling. Now, some people will put it inside the thing. I don't like doing that because that means I have to click through and search for it. And sometimes I want to make changes, and it gets more annoying the harder it is to click on it. We're going to call this bangs. Now, these I do kind of like to have the accurate name for because I end up editing them a lot. So for bangs, switch this to bone cloth, come down to colliders, and I'm going to drag skull, F1, F2. Sometimes I'll drag the neck collider. These bangs are in zero danger of ever touching the neck collider. And I can see my skull and my face. And this tool right here is called Magicloth. I think when I got it, it was on sale for $5 on the Unity asset store. I highly suggest it. But if you're just starting, it's not necessary. But if you're looking to take your model up a bit more, I do highly suggest this as like, if you're gonna just buy one tool, Magicloth is a really good one to buy. Let's see. So I need two bangs. I I do my left side and my right side separately because I want this side to have zero gravity and this side to have low gravity. Okay. And now I'm going to drag the bones here into the root bones here. 13, 12, skip 11, 10, 9. Okay, skip 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, let's go down to this one. 11, 9, 8, 7. Wait, did I put 7 on this side? Yeah, I did. Okay. 6, 5, 4. 4 is the back. Okay. So one thing to note, these bones are in order of creation. That is why my bones are so the order of creation that they are in Vroid, that's how they're numbered here. I've tried changing the hair's name in Vroid, and it still doesn't change the name on the export. So I don't know if there's a way to have it like already named the correct things to speed up this process, but I have done the rigging for this hair so many times that I have the section almost memorized. So I don't have to restart. I'm gonna Control C, Control V. I'm just gonna erase the bones in this one. And I'm gonna call this pony. And now the ponytail, it can hit a lot more things. So I need to open up these. So we're gonna grab the neck, which I do forget very frequently. Upper, upper. Then I want this. Then I guess I didn't change the name of this one, but it's fine because it's the only game object. And then spine. Then I don't need anything else. Oh, let's grab hips. I'm gonna copy paste this and call this one ribbon. My ponytail is in the first slot. My ribbons should be in 3 and 4. Okay. Now, typically this is when I'm done because For my base design, I didn't want to have anything on the bottom side because I knew I wanted to make many alternate appearances for it. Uh, but for this one, I felt like it was the design needed something on the bottom to like balance it out. So I did do that. So that means I have to rig this section, but typically I'd be done right now because I only need to do the upper body. So I'm going to call this skirt magic cloth. Okay. And this will actually have a transparent feature to this model because this skirt used to be in my first design for my base model. I took it away for the aforementioned adding time to making outfits. But like, okay, there's the bones. So you see these bones? There's in between sections between the bones where there isn't anything to collide with your leg, which is why I like to create that little like space there. So that way if it hits this bone, it moves it further away, which stops this area from going inside my leg. Most of the times. It still sometimes goes inside my leg. Another thing to note is Vroid doesn't naturally have lower leg colliders. You can add those by taking those pink circles that I deleted earlier and adding new ones. The same process that I'm doing with the Magic Cloth colliders. Okay. So now I'm going to take this presets. I'm going to switch this to skirt. Ribbon, I want to have it set to accessory. Some of these I have changed in my file, but you just want to play around with these. These are the physics settings. Like I tend to like a little bit lower gravity, so that way I can have my hair be a little bit more like move. I like my hair to swish and move and like, yeah. So that's pony. Up here for the bangs, I'm gonna set this to short, oh, set it to front hair. And I want it to be next to zero gravity. My personal perfect value for that bang is 0.03 typically. And then on this side, we're going to set it to front hair also, but instead of having any gravity, zero gravity. Because if I have gravity, what's going to happen is these strands of hair are going to go straight down. And like I want them to move a little bit, but I don't like how it's moving on this model. I want it to kind of just slightly move. I'll also sometimes turn up the stiffness. I don't think I'll need to do that. Okay. Now, I did this all with inside the file folder, I mean the model itself. So then I'm going to hit save. So I didn't used to do this, but when I started doing this, it increased the load speed of my models by a lot. I used to do it from here and add all that stuff. I found out if you go into the folder, like the object, by clicking the small arrow right here, and you put things actually inside here, your model loads faster. Basically, you make sure that it's the parent. I will also add that I also like putting it in here because when I hit that back arrow and I get the prompt to save it, uh, NEB doesn't always save when you close Unity, but if I do it that way, has in the past saved inside my Unity folder in like game file thing. Okay. So let's hit play and we're gonna go ahead and see what the physics look like. But this will take a hot second because this is the first time it's loading this model's physics. So it's got to do basically loading all of like, for one, the materials, but then two, everything I've changed about the model, it's now thinking about right now. sometimes this is super fast. Sometimes it can take a hot second. But if I do this now, it will be fast. Once you do it once with one model, that same model, as long as you're working on it and only it will load faster and faster the more you click the play button. I don't necessarily know fully why, other than the fact that it's not having to change as much about the scene. So right now it's just trying to figure out the scene. This number is not super important because it will count fast, slow. Like, it's not necessarily the best indication on how long it's going to take. But building the mod file, once I export it, uh, typically takes about 2 to 3 minutes to actually fully build the mod. Now note, I export my models as Wardo models. And Wardo has a SDK file you can download that's already set up for Unity that makes it really easy to get started. VNyan also has a Unity tool that you can use to export things as VNyan models, but I don't know its workflow because I personally have always used Wordo. Wordo's liked some of my content and retweeted me occasionally, so we they're a semi-friend of the channel. I say semi because I am well aware of their existence, but I think they're only partially aware of mine. But they're so nice to me, so they also have a really good community when it comes to tutorials. A lot of the effects, some of the effects I programmed myself in Unity, but a lot of the like redeem effects are using visual scripting in Wordo. Whenever we get to the Wordo stage for this model, I can show kind of what that looks like. But because I have 2 instances of Wordo up at that point, they won't work there. But I can show how they look when they do how the setup looks. Okay, model is loaded. Any changes I make while this button is blue will not do anything. They'll all go back to how they used to be after it goes off. So I'm gonna hide these circles because I want to be able to see. First thing I'm checking, making sure my hair is not flipped up there, because that's the most problem area. Seeing the skirt area. Okay. Okay, then come to this side. And there's a way you can test it, like using a magic cloth. There's like a tool. I just do this. It looks like it's fine. Yay! Okay, now we're ready to get to the materials. That's all done. That's one of the things that takes me the longest to do a lot of the times, unless like sometimes we get a little bit picky about the materials and then that takes a hot second. But oftentimes that takes me the longest to do. Okay, so I want to go down to materials for this model. So Poison Festive materials. I'm going to click and I'm going to select all of them. Click down here. I use another tool called Poyomi. There's a free and paid version of this. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you don't necessarily need the paid version. They do suggest using the paid version if you're going to make a game with it. But again, I use the free version. Support them if you have the money, but if you don't, the free version is still amazing. And again, I use the free one. So if you see all of this black, that's because my transparent meshes are not deleted. I'm going to hit this and hit cutout. And most of this model, I want to be rendered whether you're looking at the back of the object or the front of the object. So like right now, it deletes anything that's behind. So this is the back of the sleeve, so it's deleting it. Sometimes that's useful. For this specific moment, it's not, so we're going to turn that off. And as long as I have them all selected, I can make changes to all of them at the same time. Once I start having each model have its own like section and I've edited smaller sections of the thing, it won't be as easy to do this. So it's best if you can do this as the first step to select all of them and make changes. So like the next thing that we know we want is my shading. I like using normal maps because it's like for me a quick lighting thing. Some people prefer SDF, but you do have to draw the shadows on each texture. So we're gonna set it to realistic because I like just doing a normal map and being done. And if you notice, now my model is receiving shadow. That's a lot of what it does. And normal maps just say where the light is supposed to hit the model. Now, this next part is the benefit of the fact that I've been making models for 2 years now. I have a lot of just pre-made normal maps. I can just like copy paste. Uh, this, this is the body. These are hair normal maps I have. This one is skin. I don't think I'm gonna need crystal, but we're gonna grab it anyways. Grab this one and grab this one. Grab this one and grab this because that's my mouth. And Control C. Come to materials. Now note, I'm moving this to the materials section, and you might be like, but why? There's a texture section. I don't want to have to click back and forth constantly from material to texture, especially with how many changes I'm about to make. And also, when you build the mod, it gets organized by the mod writer for Wordo. So like when you're building the Wordo mod, everything's going to get reorganized. So like it won't get reorganized on the Unity side, but on the export it's reorganized. So you don't really have to worry about that affecting anything. Okay. So these two, see, this time I'm just going to do the eye here. I'm going to go ahead and do the body stuff. Also, just gonna, I could turn the light or I can turn the model. Oop. I prefer just turning the model. I like to go half it with light and half in shadow. At least like have this, so that way I can see how my normal maps are working. I'm gonna take these, and I'm gonna set these to fade. Whoops, fade. And note, if you set it to fade and you don't have your meshes deleted, like your transparent meshes deleted, you want to move this at least to like here, so that way it deletes all the blank space that's there. Otherwise, when you move it to Wordo, you're gonna see black squares. Especially if you don't have like a special like sprout setup. So that way Wordo like sends OBS the transparency data. Okay. Go to my face and we'll use this one. That's the normal map for my face. Okay. Go to my body. Normal map for my body. which has like my ab shadows and stuff. And I'm going to show how I make normal maps with other parts. But like if I redid all of my normal maps, we would be here for a hot minute. It's one of those things where if you have a consistent like model, you do once and then you don't have to do it again for the most part, unless you don't like how it looks. And I'm going to set this to 2, 2. For these, I have these, and they're organized in the same order. So first one goes on the first one, second one goes on the second one. But yeah, so you see this shadow here that like makes my abs look really defined. That's done through a normal map. This is what my normal map looks like. If you copy it, your model will come out looking wonky because it's based off of where I've placed everything on my model. And I can show you how you make normal maps in Clip Studio. We're going to get to that probably with the lights and definitely with these green sleeves. Oh, I'll go ahead and show it actually with these gloves. So these gloves, I kind of want them to be like a very like suede-esque texture. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna grab my fabric normal map, and then I'm gonna hit stoichiometry. So without stoichiometry, because on Vroid your hand is separated with your hand being up here and fingers being down here, if I don't turn on stoichiometry, it's not going to read it as it appears on screen. It's going to read it as it appears on the texture map. So that's why there's those lines. And then I can like add this. It's not perfect. There will still be some slight lines there if I put it that heavy, so we won't. But just wanted to show why stoichiometry for the glove specifically. And then I'm going to turn on matte cap. I want gradient. And I'm going to use this one, which is typically what this one is for what I use for shiny, the black, white, black with transparency in the center between them. This one I've used a lot for fabric. Fix now. And I'm going to replace. This is also how I make patent leather look like patent leather. Turn the intensity down. I actually think we might use this one. And just, I want that to be very slight. There we go. It's gonna look weird because nothing else has texture yet. Okay. My mouth. This is another standard one where I already have the normal map. So I'm just going to drag this over. And now that that's dragged over, so this is something I started doing recently. I'll use a cube map, and then I will take the cube map and put a shine inside my mouth, switch the property from replace to add, and what I like this does is it adds kind of like a little bit of like saliva into your mouth. I like the effect because sometimes it can be hard to tell when a Vroid model is talking because if you don't open your mouth very much like this, I like having that shine so that way it kind of creates a glint inside my mouth, which makes it so much easier to see when it's opening and closing. Let's see. So for the most part, this is mostly done. I'm going to turn the smoothness down there. And then I'm just going to hit lock in for this one. The first material you lock in with Poyomi creates the shader file inside the model. So the first file in this section is going to switch from having 0 files in it to having 1 file in it. This says can delete later. I've never deleted it because like there's a section in this folder that says delete later, but I've never done it. Okay. This. I think I can go ahead and grab these two. Set them to this. I'm gonna go ahead and grab, oh, actually, I can grab this, this, because this will get the same hair texture. So we're gonna use the same normal map on all of that. And I'm gonna use this one. And now for hair, I will sometimes want this to be more turned up. One of the things that makes the normal map more visible is if I go down here and add like a matte cap to it, because it adds the gradient, which then lets you see the bumps and ridges in the like hair. Top pinch, solid color, gradient, gradient. Let's see. I have a few gradients here saved. Fix now. I want to take mixed, turn this all the way up, which will make this darker. And then I'm going to turn replace down. I need to go to this one because this is supposed to be red. We'll definitely have to play with that. Okay, take this. Let's go pull this. Depending on your normal map, you're gonna have to play around with this, but I do 4 and 5 for my normal map. And then I turn up this, go down here. I want to use that same color. Fix now. And just leave it darker. I'm gonna mix this shade. This is kind of supposed to be the roots and not very visible. There we go. Okay. So I made a commission model for a panda bear, which I created a normal map that basically I took a small section of a panda, screenshot of that panda's fur, and then changed it to a normal map. And that's how I did that one. And it does create this kind of like nice suede texture. So I might end up using that. But for now, let's see. Where is it? I think this is it. Yeah. Control C. This is going to be one of the more complicated pieces. Because what it requires is multiple things. First, I need to open it up, the picture, which I believe is still saved here, which is going to save me a lot of time. So if you notice, I have this saved as 3 different colors, red, black, and white, and I can hide layers. The red and black are part of a stamp, so I guess I can't hide that. But what I can do is, I'm going to take this side, Control-C, Control-V, hide one layer, and I want to take this. I think there's a selection tool that you can use for this part. Not 100% sure. Make sure this works the way I want it to. Yes, it does. Right. It still leaves some red. But I could still use this map for 2 reasons. One, red is one of the colors I can map for. So it might be not too terrible. Let's see. Apply. I'm going to turn this tolerance way up. I wanted to get that little like red fuzz on the outside too. Oh, that actually might be the easier thing. That could work too. Control-C. Before I do that, I'm going to test out to see if I even need to. So I'm going to go down here, shading, cube map. I need to go to my texture file, find that map, Control-C, Control-V, click back on. Where is it? There it is. Use this mask. Fix now. Right now I think it's masking for red. It is. So I'm going to turn this translucent thing up. I do it for black. Let's switch this to gold because that's going to be easier to see. So I'm able to target using red the black versus the red. So what I could do is kind of invert that. I know I'm going to want these to be darker as well. So my options are this. I can go through and clean up all those red sections. Or I can go in, because it looks like I might need to shade the transparency a little bit more darker on the red and black. Another option for me to do, because red and green are opposites. So let me go here, correction layer, gradient map. And I want to switch this one to green. Oh, whoops. New layer. I'm going to do gradient map, white, just as green as I can. Okay, hit okay. Okay, and now this red and green should not agree. File. Because the black is working well. And I know that's separating. Save as. Let's go to and I'm going to save this inside here. Okay. Back to cube map. I'm going to take this one, put it in the mask, fix now, green, red, well, that's working better. Gold. Now let's see. Alpha's transparency. Let me go ahead and apply that. That separated the cable there and the armature and left the red squares. So if I invert this, I'll get what I wanted. And it'd just be that. Which means I'm much closer to what the goal is, which is basically just to have that be silver. Or just very metallic-y. Because then matte cap. Gonna pull this one over. And I want to do like a dark forest green. Fix now. Let's see. I want to take cable, normal map. Let's see. I don't see a. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, so I need. Just gonna go ahead and make this. File, new. I don't need it to be super good. I think a square is actually fine. So I want this to be like a cable normal map. So I'm gonna go here because I think if I have like a string, that will work. Or like a braid. But it would need to be a tight braid. Oh, definitely not that. That's snakeskin. Zipper chain, bead and chain, stitch. Braid. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay. To go right and take this to like take this to white, take this to black. Yeah, I think at this. Filter, effect, normal map. It's either gonna be that or do something else. So we're gonna try this first. I want to take this color. And I'm just gonna spray paint the back of this. Because this is again gonna be small, so I don't think it matters too much. Let me turn this though. Not that. I wanted to turn cancel. I wanted to turn the rope, not actually I think that might be better anyways. So cancel. File. Save as. PNG. Oh, whoops. I meant PNG down here. It's fine. Yes. So I want this little like green thing here to look like a cable. I also might try tinsel, like a tinsel texture. Because that also might read very well. Okay, there it is. So because I have this mask working, I can now do a custom normal map down here that's not going to be the same as the normal map above. Fix now. And I want to make sure that I get this to be very much the desired look, obviously. 20. That looks decent from a distance. Not up close, but from a distance. Let's see. And I'm gonna switch this. Fix now. Switch this color. Okay. Now I feel like for this section, I'm gonna end up needing to kind of color in these light bulbs. So let me go ahead and just zoom out. Merge selected. I mean, maybe these are dark enough. Merge selected. File. Save as. Actually, I think it's already saved here. Call this one a test. Okay, this. And where is, because this one is the test, I believe. Fix now. Okay, so I know red works as a filter color, and I can work with that. So right now my black is black. Correction. Gradient map. I would like to take this, set it to super green, hit OK, file, save. That's not how I thought I was going to do it, but it works. Hit that. This is on top pinch, set it to gradient. And do. So that works now. And note, right here, I don't have blur on, so you can't see the emissive light. But let me show an example of what it will look like when blur is turned on. Using my model down in the bottom left-hand corner. Not blur, bloom. So I can make those lights light up way more by changing the bloom settings. So the main thing is to make sure that they are being emissive. And then their visibility will be heavy. So I'm going to switch this red, green, white, gold, red, green, and then green. Fix now. I don't know. It's looking like Caribbean-esque or Rastafarian. So we're gonna switch it to more rainbow. Fix now. Because that's better. Okay. Let's look up a tinsel. Normal map. Uh, Line, leaf, texture. Save image. Save. Okay. Come over here to Handy Dandy CapCut. I mean, not CapCut. Clipart Studio. I'm gonna open. Pull this over to my other screen. Do, do, do. There it is. Open. Pine leaves. Okay. I would like to go filter and switch this to a normal map. Hit OK. Filter. Strong blur. See. New layer. Instead of blurring, I'm just gonna diffuse it a little bit. There we go. File. Save as. NMSL. This is the part that takes the most searching, because I really want the best texture I can get on them. Take these sections, because they're all gonna need the same normal map. And I want to take this, go down here, grab this. Fix now. open. That's okay. Let's see if I add a gradient to this. Like a forest green gradient, if that helps a bit. Ooh, let's actually use this darker one because I'll have more things I can do with it. Fix now. Gradient. Replace. That looks a bit more. Oh yeah, and thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Summers. I just got the notification. But yeah, that kind of works a bit. I feel like this I should make like less visible. Even though that means I gotta like actually edit that texture file. But I think I might be happy with it if I do. So I'm gonna go down here, file, open. I'm not gonna save over the texture file, but I am going to make an alternate texture for that just to see if I like it better. Pull this over here so I can see better. Open, okay. So what I think I can do is take an eraser, make this eraser small, kind of basically just do this where I make it snake basically. Only issue will be the lower part. So I'll try to leave that one relatively untouched. Now, one of the smarter things for me to do would be to edit this in Vroid, save that texture, and then, like, use that. We're not being smart right here, but maybe we'll save, like, 5 minutes off of the task. If I like it, I can fix it in Vroid. That's what we'll do. This shouldn't take me too long. Do It's already looking better here, so I'm gonna guess that it would look better in app as well. The bright side though is for the color maps, I actually don't have to touch those because this image is completely contained within that same boundary. So it should be unaffected. Okay. Do 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 do. Control C, Control V. Grab. Swap. This is the thick side, so take an eraser. Reveal. Take an eraser. Also, I did just realize something. I doubled up the layers on the color map, which meant that the black areas got more like instructions to color the area, but because I didn't change the color on this texture map, it actually didn't do anything because I told it to go color an area that didn't exist. So I was gonna have to edit this texture map anyways. Do, do, do. Uh, LGTBST. Save. Yes. It's getting cold in my apartment, so I'll have to turn the air off. I believe this is what I need to edit. LG test. Yeah, that's a lot better. I could refine it even more, but I can already say that that is marginally better. With the need to clean up like those sections. So let me go to this. I'm going to combine these two layers. Right, selected. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean now. See, now that there's space for it to color, yeah, that's that's what was happening. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up on my other monitor, and I'm gonna like delete layers. Do, do, do. Save over. Yes, save as one layer. Okay. File. Save. Oh, wait, another option. Let's do fade. Fourth option, additive. Let's see. Let's. I think I need to switch this yellow. Switch this lime. Fix now. Still looking wrong, Christmas lights wise. So what I could do. Which mask is this? So that's this mask. So if I drag this up here and switch this to like this, fix now, and then if I drag this one, and then if I switch this to this, so I could also see doing that being the right answer. I might need to just like edit that texture altogether. We can cross that road when we get to it. I think the bloom feature is going to make it to where you don't see enough detail of it to make that rewarding. This is the other option, which I'm not mad at this option either. setting it to rotate the cube map, so that way the lights constantly shift colors. That looks a lot better. Okay. Up next, I need, let's see, suede. Let's see, save this image. I don't like that. I'm gonna look up rabbit fur instead. Because I think that's gonna give me a better texture. Save image. It's a little bit grainy, but I can fix it. I can fix him. Clip Studio. File. Open. Uh, I don't see it in my downloads. It's a JPEG. Show in folder. Got it. Filter. We want to set this to a normal map. Okay. And I want to take one of the blue sections, like the blue-purple sections, new layer, and we're just going to make it less harsh. Like that. Save as. I'm gonna go to my materials, and we're gonna save it as rabbit fur. We'll save it as what it is. It's important when I get fur textures that I find an animal that's like preferably white fur, because the way that it receives light is gonna translate well into a normal map. I don't want one with a pattern in it unless I'm wanting to, like, say, do leopard like stripes or something, or spots. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to this, because I believe that's the shirt. Okay, where is my rabbit? Rabbit. Fix now. And we want to do probably 5 and 4. 2 and 1. Okay, and then I need to give the fabric a shine for the suede-esque appearance. Gradient. Fix now. Let's make it way less intense. Let's see. I might grab my suede texture from here. These materials. Where did I save it? There it is. Because I kind of want this to have the same texture as that. Okay, turn this way down. That's a bit better. But the hood is going to be way more complicated. Because I can't just grab and move over. What I'm going to need to do, I actually might still use this. Let me also just see, sometimes the image actually does transfer fine to a normal map through Unity. Because Unity doesn't get as detailed as Clip Studio. Sometimes that's a good thing. Okay, yeah, no, it's not reading it as a normal map at all for the most part. Oh, no, it is. There's a happy medium here. Yeah, I kind of like that. So now this is just rabbit fur, basically. Just being scanned as a normal map. This, which reads like this like little yellow square. And we might change it, but I'm not 100% sold if it's gonna read correctly on export. Do, do, do. Okay, grab this, and then I want to grab the thing I was using earlier. Drag it over. And I want this to fill this entire section. Free transform. Make sure it fills up the space. Okay. Shift, select the outside, and then invert. Let's see. There we go. File, save as, materials, hood, and M. Save again. There's a red spot. I feel like the hood's gonna be kind of cut and dry. Okay. I have cold air blowing on my back, and I gotta turn that air off. Because, dear God, it's cold. Oh, wrong headset. There we go. Well, I guess if I do this up here, and I might need to do that same texture on the shirt. That looks wrinkly. That's not terrible. I think we will leave this like how it is for now. Lighten it up a little bit. Go to the hood, matte cap. Fix now. Gradient. There we go. This is just gonna get my patent leather edit down there. I think also with the shorts. I think this is bottoms, right? Yeah. Switch this to additive. Take this color, take it up a bit. Actually, fade. And then I want to go down to glitter. Large glitter. Shape. 100. And then I should just probably use my fabric on this part. And we're gonna do 2 on the X.
How close to Jingle Bell are we?
We are close to a first test run. Because I'm having debates on how I want to do the textures on the like central part and like the other parts, but I think what we're gonna do is end up moving forward and then kind of looking to see how they look in Wardo, because Bloom is gonna play a huge role in this outfit. Snowflakes. Okay, I believe this is shoes, underwear, shorts. Right? Nope. Control Z. This is the shorts. Okay. Cube map. Shine. Additive. Lock in. Grab these two. Cube map. Additive. Move this down. Yeah. Lock in. I think I'll just go ahead and lock this stuff in. Lock it in. Okay. This. Just add this. And then 2 and 2. Lock in. Because you can't really see anything but that strap right there, so that doesn't really matter. Okay. Hair. I totally forgot I'm gonna have to do a similar thing to this that I did to the last section. So let me grab this. Okay. Oh wait, this one's gonna be so much easier because I drew each individually. Save as hair band st. Yes. Save as hair band lg. File. Save as hair band lp or cp for cap. Let's grab the lights first. Mask. Fix now. Set this to alpha. Okay, matte cap. This part, fix now. Fix now. And then I should have a, yeah. Custom normal map. now. Yeah. Fix now. Switch this to alpha. Gradient. Lock in. Fix now. Actually, I think my hair's fine. Okay, matte cap, gradient, mask. Fix now. Switch it to this. Okay, with this. Take this. I'm gonna reduce how harsh this is. Lock in. Don't think I need to do anything with the body because it's mostly covered. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the thing I normally do with it, which is clear coat. Use the skin mask I have. Grab this, grab that, grab this, grab lightest part in the face. Random values. Go down here. 5 and 6. Wait. I think I want to unlock these. Zero, zero. 50%. Fix now. Additive. Emissive. No, we won't do that. Use base color. Directional light. 0. Okay. I want to take this emissive color, copy, special, emissive, paste. This should be way brighter. How bright is this? 1.8. Unlock. Because I want to turn this brightness up a little bit too. Okay, and now I can lock these in. Okay, and then it's the highlights time. We're going to set it to fade. I want to do special, emissive, not this one, emissive, space color, completely fluorescent. Oh, out. what fluorescent does is it basically means when lights are on, things stop being bright. There we go. Cut out. Cube map. Add.
You got games on your phone?
No. I have Hearthstone on my phone, but that's more of like a torture thing when it doesn't give me what I want. That make it better? Let's see. Lock in. Oh wait, first. Yeah. Lock in. Lock in. Most things should be locked in. Oh, this needs a cube map. This additive. Turn it down to this. Turn this down a bit. Lock in. Oh wait, we got the normal map, I think. Yeah, unlock. Now lock in. Lock in. Lock in. But if this other stuff is also all set, then we will be exporting the model and seeing how it looks. Lock in. And it looks like we are set to do our first export and test. And we might fix some things later down the line. Um, Let me hit play so I can see real time how fast things are moving. Like as far as like the flashing lights go. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, let's make sure everything's locked. Okay, with everything being locked, that means we can do an export here and see how it looks. Wardo, new mod, poison, Festive. Create mod. Word out. Set up character. Okay, and now we are going to switch to Wordo, switch to active mode, and build that mod. Save. This is going to take a hot second, so I will hit the BRB and we'll come off of BRB once the model's finished. I think, because this has a lot to go through. Well, actually, no, it's not going to take that long. Let's see. I don't think, at least it didn't look like it, because it was moving on to the next asset pretty quickly. Yeah, it's already recompiling before build. It looked like it was going to take a hot second. Let's see, it's from Poyomi Tune. Cab. Locked. Oh, well, that's exporting. Let's go ahead and pull up Wordo. Okay, just as a side note, Wardo's pulling up, which means that until I restart Wardo on the stream computer, the redeems will not work right now. Okay, I do have time to go pee, so I'm gonna hit BRB and I'm gonna go pee real fast. BRB. So I was right. This is taking a hot second. My first assumption was right. Uh, life scene. Build manifest. See, all I gotta do is say it's gonna take a while. Because build manifest is the last step. And we just hit it. Writing the mod file. Okay. Now I gotta move the model from my SDK file, which is this game file, into my character folder. The last thing I had up was my freebie model. Close. Pull this up. Okay, character 5. And I'm going to switch this. Ooh, actually, before I switch it, so I can get a really good first impression, I'm gonna take the light settings and organize it right. So I'm gonna dim the lights, go to camera, I want bloom on, threshold, turn it down just a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Do you scroll through all my models? Oh wait, okay. First, if I remember correctly, this was last year. Let's see the improvement. Da, da, da. A, B, C, D, festive. Okay, bloom is too high. We've come so far. I'm gonna turn transparent background off. I'm gonna set this to like a dark air color, but like character 4, position, rotation, character 5, position, rotation. You have the lights turned off, and I just want to put them next to each other. Just for a point of reference. I'm gonna need you to stop dancing for a second. Oh, whoops. That's a bone issue. I think if I had to guess, my bones and my arms are like a little bit too far forward, which I should be have an easy time fixing. Yeah, so last year, this year, they're pretty much the same model. Okay, I will say, while the like exact look of this model doesn't eat, I do kind of like the design. And these lights were actually done very well. Like I do really like how I did these lights. My old face. Like I would like to point that out. This face versus this face. No, yeah, we've come so far. I did also okay, so one thing that helped me out that got me a little like because I can point out some things. One thing that helped me get from here to here, I made my body way smaller. The reason to do that is when you're smaller, you have more room to grow without like bending blend shapes. So like I made my entire frame a lot smaller so that way I would have more control over everything. Ow. And as you can see, it worked. But yeah, no, those lights are still good lights though. These lights are more optimized, so they're not going to take as much to load. But those lights, I do kind of like. They have a kind of classic feel to them. I love seeing the growth. Let's see with lights on. I will say with lights on, that's where these lights start to shine over these. Now let's turn on point light, where my normal maps should shine a bit more. With normal maps, without normal maps. Okay, because I didn't use normal maps at this point, this is all my shading work, which I did do a great job at shading that. That's a really nice, like, yeah.
Went from PS2 to
We
PS4.
did go from PS2 to PS4. I agree. Okay. And now, not that. Oh my god, the two different dances that I can do now. The dances I had to choose from back then, and now. But you know what that means? The next level is PS5. Yay! I mean, honestly, for PS5, we're probably gonna have to use Blender. Uh, I love what I can accomplish in Unity, but like to get like so more realistic hair. Let me see if I can't see exactly where I'm having some like collision issues with my hair. It's possible that I won't have any collision issues if I'm like using it as a standing model though. Let's see. iFacial. Calibrate. Wow. It could also be the neck bone is too far back. Oh, ow. Yay, we did it. We made a model. For the first time ever. I have no history of bad models. No, those models aren't bad. They're just lower quality. But they're not bad. But these are definitely way better. Okay, so I know I have this one. Do I have another one of my Christmas ones? Cat ears, CH, cherry. It might be called holiday. Jellycat. Jellycat.
The way you name things, it could be any of them.
Hey, listen, we can go through some names. Uh, Start down here. Color shift, colorful, crab, crop summer, curse of poison, curse poison, decay test, DNA kitsune, do at night prototype, emerald frost. Emerald frost is actually a cool model. Face flowers, expedition 33. Oh, I was looking for this model. This is when my face got a lot more like, see you next Tuesday. Yeah, no, we have a legion. I am many. Be assimilated. Ooh, this one takes a hot second to load, but is cool. When it loads, it's amazing. It's called Evil Ariel Green. If I remember, if this is the model I think it is. Okay, it is. Oh yeah, it's not gonna do the other one. That one's using Ground Live. Because I was inspired by that scene where Ariel's dress is glowing like that sparkly green. And then like there's a music video of evil Ariel. So I wanted to kind of like do this like weird monster like thing. And then there's a counterpart to this one that's a little less monster like and like is all glowy pink. Is that gonna be right next to it? I think it is. One of the features of this model, though, is if you open your mouth wide enough, it's like the edges of its mouth go all the way to the sides of your face. Kind of like a very like fish-like mouth. A lot of my models, I try to put like one thing in them that's like a secret like Easter egg. Oh yeah, this one has pink smoke. Let's see. I have a Miku Miku up there, but I like. Oh, is that the right Miku? This is actually one of the transition models where you start to see like my face shape reshape and my eyes reshape. And then I put poison in front of most of the new models. I still love this one, the Uno model I made, but oftentimes I do get like suppressed content when I put it on screen. But it is also kind of a Miku model. I call it Griku, Greek Miku. Oh God, we have so many. This is my Fortnite Sabrina Carpenter outfit. This would look so much better with my new face. Okay, this dragon, some of my models I feel like are gonna be a little bit they're not gonna fall as bad to being outdated, and this is one of them. This is still one of my favorite models. It's based off the Soap Dragon and Monster Hunter. Wee. Yeah, no, that's the cool thing. One of the cool things about watching my content specifically is because I make models like 1 to 2 a week, you get to see a true growth in the process. And when we go back through and look at the different ones, like if you've been following for like a long time, you can kind of tell which model is the one that you followed me from because because I spend so much time working on progressing my skills, there's like stark differences between a model I made today and a model I made like 2 months ago. But yeah, no, this is probably going to be one that I feel is a bit more ageless, just because I love. Oh, hey, I kept the rose. I have the early rose stamp on this one, but we did it. We made our Christmas model, which means tomorrow we will start with gaming. Actually, tomorrow we'll start with like doing a 2D image, and then we'll go to gaming because I want to draw splash art for the Christmas model. Which, if you didn't know, I take the pictures, I pose them in Wordo, take the pictures, and then put them in Clip Studio, and then that's how I do the edits. But we did it, and we've come so far. But I do think we are gonna call a stream here because we're going live tomorrow and the next day because our stream anniversary starts technically at 7 a.m. tomorrow and goes until 7 a.m. Monday. So yeah, we're gonna be streaming quite a bit upcoming. Uh, One thing that's on the list, we're gonna play a lot of Wuthering Waves because I want to farm Primo Gems for new characters coming out, for the models that we're gonna make in the future. Uh, and yeah, we might have portions of that stream that is only on Twitch, only because YouTube hates when I play music. But most of it will be dual cast. But we might listen to some like holiday music at some point. Good night to you too, Proto. And I'll see you all in the next upcoming stream. Yay! Thank you so much, everyone who stopped by. You guys are all amazing, and I can't wait to see you in future streams. And thank you to all my new subscribers. I can't wait to have you guys see all of the different models we make, and even get to see some of the older ones. Well, bye for now, and see you next time.